Till the Christmas market comes to Lincoln, this area is packed with stalls. It's Brown's Pie Shop's busiest time. All the staff come in early to help Mark out. He doesn't want to be seen by the others skipping round the kitchen singing to invisible people, so he stops. But I'm afraid to tell you, Humphrey didn't like being ignored. Mark started work as usual, he said, when there was a tremendous bang on the front door. He came down to check. He said there was nobody there, but oddly the key had fallen out of the lock and it was lying on the mat. Well, he thought that was a bit strange as he bent to pick it up. It wasn't half as strange as the scraping sound from the empty kitchen he'd just left upstairs. He made his way, rather trepidatiously, back up into the kitchen. He said there was nobody in there, but the knife he'd been using to chop vegetables with seconds earlier wasn't on the chopping board anymore. It was sticking up by its blade in the wooden floor, and it was waving to and fro. During a particularly violent argument, in her own defence, the wife is said to have stabbed her husband to death, straight through his neck with his own Masonic chisel. And that couple haunt that building. It's not the only thing that's happened on the ghost walk. Another lady backed up over there. She told me afterwards, she said, well, I wanted to light a cigarette, but I didn't want the sound of my lighter to distract the group. Well, we didn't hear that, but when she shrieked and jumped 50 foot in the air, we did all turn round. She said just as she was lighting her cigarette, she had distinctly felt a cold hand in the small of her back. Strugglers Inn, named to commemorate the struggle at the end of the gallows rope of the dying man, because opposite it used to be the old gallows. The last man to be hanged there was a man called William Clark, and he was a poacher, and he was taken to the Strugglers Inn for a last drink, and he took with him his lurcher dog. Now, William went over the road, never came back. The dog did a Greyfriars Bobby. It pined away and it died. So the landlord of the time had it stuffed and put in a case on the bar. Apparently, come and see dead dog of man hanged in Lincoln was a draw to your establishment in the old days. Doesn't work for me, but never mind. However, they had a lot of poltergeist activity at the Strugglers. Scratchings at the door bottoms, howlings in the night. Very cold area near the bar that nobody wanted to stand. He's a highwayman, and nobody knows where he gets his inside information from. And he makes a good living at it, until one fateful day. Just as he's holding up the coach, something must have attracted his attention out of the corner of his eye, because he must just have glanced away for a second. That second was long enough for the coach driver to reach down to the burning coach lamp in its socket at the side, pull it out, smash the glass on the side of the coach, and thrust the burning brand straight in the highwayman's face. His horse reared up, he galloped off. Can't come back to Lincoln now, everybody's looking for a man with a burnt face. Can't go to the doctors for the same reason. How does he know the man won't recognise him and turn him in? He goes on. In the 12th century, a sub-dean called Blomfield was actually attacked while he was at prayer at an altar in the cathedral by one of the dean's servants. This servant was dragged out of the building into this courtyard area here. Without any formal trial or anything whatsoever, they tied him to a horse's tail. The horse was then whipped all the way up Cannock Hill, no mean distance from here, dragging the man behind it. And when they got there, what was left of him was hanged, drawn and quartered. Though after the journey on the tail, that was probably a blessed release for them. You'll notice this little bit of road is quite straight. That's because it used to be one of the entrances into the old Roman city of Lindum Colonia. And Roman soldiers are heard and seen passing along this pathway. When they're heard, it's the brass bits on their armour clanking together. When they're seen, which is a lot more rarely, they're only seen from the knees upwards. Because of course they're walking on the level of the road as it existed in their lifetime. And in the interim 2,000 years, there's nearly 2 feet of stone and cobble, rubble and tarmac on top of the old Roman road. Do be careful while we stand here. I don't want any of you knocked over by the severed head that bounces down here on occasion. They've got a Roman soldier in their beer cellar. They've nicknamed him Eddie. Eddie, rather alarmingly, hovers diagonally up the wall. Of course, what he's doing is using a staircase. But the staircase doesn't exist in our time. Still there for him, though, so On Halloween 5 years ago, a lady standing where this young gentleman in the blue t-shirt is standing, I hadn't even started to tell the story, and she squeaked and went like this. Well, we all had a laugh, didn't we? How many had she had before she come on the ghost walk? But she said no. She said she was stone cold sober. She was standing in flat winter boots, listening to me, when something caught her right in the back of the knees. Maybe it was the head.